you really can build muscle on the cheap. Hey guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I want to give you 5 different exercises that you can do just with bands, nothing else, that can build muscle. Now, guys, bands are not the best piece of equipment when it comes to working out, but they are really effective on certain exercises with certain muscle groups, especially doing isolation movements and smaller muscles. And then secondly, they're by far the best bang for the buck. I mean, money-wise. I mean, a set of bands on Amazon is, I don't know, 18, 20 bucks. And I highly recommend that you buy 2 complete sets of bands. And I'll get into that later with one of the exercises. But bands are super cheap. You can stick them in your suitcase. So when you're traveling, you can knock out, some workouts in your motel room. All right. And like I said, even though they're not the most effective when it comes to building muscle, there are certain exercises that are fantastic and almost directly mimic stuff that you do at the gym with multi-thousand-dollar pieces of equipment. All right, so 5 exercises, guys. I'm just going to kind of go through them in no particular order. These are not like best to worst or anything like that. These just happen to be the 5 exercises that I've come up with that I think are actually really, really effective and either just as good as dumbbells and machines or almost as good. All right. So I'm gonna go through the list here, and then you're gonna see videos of me actually performing those exercises. All right. And then sometimes you'll hear me giving some tips and pointers along the way. All right. So the first exercise is bicep curls. Man, you can get an incredible pump in your biceps using just nothing but bands. And you don't even have to have an anchor. You could just literally use your feet as the anchor point for the bands. And then, guys, because of the nature of the equipment that we're using, you really got to pay more attention to your form than any other machine, because that mind-muscle connection becomes more important with bands just because of the way they work. All right, they're much more difficult to get, a really effective workout out of, which means you need to really pay attention to your form. All right, number 2, guys, are tricep pushdowns. Now, this exercise, especially if you have an anchor point in the ceiling, all right, is fantastic. I would say this is probably just about as good as using a $5,000 piece of equipment at the gym. I mean, it really mimics the same exact movement and feel in your triceps. And the tricep pushdown, if you can only do one exercise for your tricep, this is it. Okay, whether it's a machine at the gym or bands at home, it doesn't matter. This is a incredibly effective exercise for building big triceps. Number 3 is lateral raises. That's my kind of go-to exercise when I'm hitting my shoulder. A lot of guys watching have got problems with trying to do any kind of overhead movement because of just injuries in your shoulders. And lateral raises kind of gets around that problem. And doing them with bands is, I would say very similar to the feel you get when you're using dumbbells or the cable machines at the gym. Exercise number 4 would be chest flies. And when it comes to bands and doing chest flies, you really get way more out of the exercise if you have 2 sets of bands with 2 different anchor points that are spread apart, 6, 8, 10 feet apart, okay? That way it will mimic the cable crossover machine at the gym, and those cable crossover machines I think cost $6,000 or $7,000, where 2 sets of bands is going to cost you a total of $40. But you can do it with 1 set of band and a single anchor point directly behind you, but you can try it both ways and you will feel a difference. It's way more effective having 2 sets of bands and 2 anchor points spread apart. And the 5th and final exercise is lat pulldowns. Guys, this is kind of like tricep pushdowns. you know, you can really feel this exercise in your back muscles, especially if you have an anchor in the ceiling. Not everybody's going to have that. I realize a lot of guys are going to put their anchor at the top of the door. All right, and you can still get some good lat pull downs that way, but I think it's way more effective if you can move the anchor up higher, like in your ceiling. You know, you'll get another 1.5 feet, and that extra 1.5 feet will actually make a big difference. And if you try it both ways, you'll be able to feel that difference. Okay, so if you got a garage where you can screw a big hook into a rafter, that's great. If not, that's fine. Put the anchor point in the top of the door, like kind of the conventional way. And this is still a great exercise for hitting those big muscles in your back. So there you go, guys. 5 exercises that you can do with $20 bands. You can, you know, obviously this is being done at home. You don't need a gym membership. You don't have to get in a car and drive someplace. And you really can build muscle on the cheap. And that's the beauty of Amazon, man. I don't care where you are, you can get these things sent to your house next day. So no excuses, guys. And then, of course, you got to stick with it and never give up on yourself.